How toxic people are always the victim? Psychology says many people protect their ego by changing the story. Instead of taking responsibility, they focus on how they were treated. Suddenly, your reaction becomes the problem, while their actions are forgotten. By playing the victim, they avoid accountability, while making you question yourself.
Hi folks, this is Tall and Lightfeet. I wanted to come before you once again to kind of do a video. Basically here, I think that we need to talk about some things. But before we actually get into all of that, as far as what we're going to talk about in the video, I wanted to get all natural in this video. I wanted to take the rag off of my head that I always wear. I wanted to get comfortable by wearing a white tee because, again, there's just some things that we need to kind of come to terms with, and really some information that I think is relevant and needs to be explained. Because one thing that I really don't like is when people don't use the right words to fit the occasion. And unfortunately, we have our favorite YouTuber, or at least mine. Of course, I'm being sarcastic, right? Carmen Kaboom wanting to have a long tirade, posting this long paragraph on a message that was sent to me, from a viewer of my material. They sent something to me, and basically I went through and I read it, and I was actually laughing the entire time I was reading this, because you can just feel the emotion and the anger, and need I say the hatred that this woman has for me, simply because I'm able to get her and hit her in a core where too few people can actually get to. And see, one thing about it again is that, her words doesn't surprise me. And the thing about it again is that what she does is that she is not a very educated woman. Because again, what she does is she just grabs whatever seems to fit, or whatever word she feels that would actually hit, supposedly hurt my feelings. I guess I'm moving up in the world, because again, I guess I'm no longer the suspected homosexual. I'm now just the weird nigga. That's what she said in her post. But again, hey, I guess I'm moving up. I don't know. I guess I'll take it for what it is. But I can say that she is a weird woman all around, from every aspect, that you want to examine this thing. I've dissected, I've actually looked at, how she thinks, how she speaks, the type of, the choice in men that she has. And the only thing that I can come up with is that, I guess this is a woman that really needs to be placed back together. Right now, she's scattered all over the place. And basically I feel that, it's my job to, put you back together again. Like that little childhood parody about Humpty Dumpty. That's pretty much what we have here, a classic case of Humpty Dumpty. But in her case, we'll call it a classic case of dysfunction. Again, a dysfunction, again, is one of the main things that I can actually classify her as, because again, it's the way that she thinks. She doesn't think clearly. She thinks and reacts based on emotion. And she really does not really understand the words that she used, or the insults, because again, it would be so easy for me to insult her. And again, there could be so many ways I can go with this. But again, I try to be kind in my delivery. I'm direct, I can say that. But I don't want to actually take it too far over the top where you want to hit below the belt. Even though she's been doing that to me quite often, even when I would leave a well-meaning, comment to one of her wacky videos. But I figured that in this video, I would go ahead and actually, give a light read, and I hope that, she understands this from the top of that head, that diseased head that she has, that nappy lace front on, all the way down to those swollen feet that she has. So basically, I want all of her. I want her whole entire being to understand where I'm coming from with this. Because again, my words to her videos was just nothing more than just a general observation. But of course, classic Carmen Kaboom's fashion, she wants to take one sentence or a couple of sentences of mine, and she basically wants to create an entire read for me. I wouldn't have known anything about this until a viewer of mine who views my videos actually posted this long tirade. I guess she posted it on Facebook, and basically, when I got the message or whatever, and I was starting to read through it, and we're going to address it one by one, because again, that's how I do. I want to make sure that you get the full meaning of everything that I have for you. I want to give my all to you today. Okay, so, and I don't want you to leave this video with anything being misunderstood. That's pretty much my main concern, or my main reason for doing the video. But again, we're gonna go through each situation and each one of her, I guess, illogical sentences, and we're gonna dissect this thing so we can kind of come and figure out what's going on here. Because again, one thing I don't like is, again, for someone to leave this particular video with any type of misunderstandings. I want you to kind of get the adjust and to understand my point of view. She's already gave hers, so now it's time for me to give my point of view. But before all of this was actually said, there was a video that she did, of course. There was 2 videos, I think, that she did, recent videos that she did that I actually posted on, where I, pretty much, gave my observation. And again, that's my prerogative if I want to do so. And basically, again, I want to put this out there. This woman wants to claim that someone's obsessed. Strike number 1. No one is obsessed with someone who is at the bottom of the barrel. I don't know, maybe in her community where she comes from, where, that low vibrational area in the Memphis area where she's from, she could probably, I guess, get that and have maybe a low life, someone that's equal to her down there, to be jealous of her or obsessed. Trust and believe. Me being obsessed with that, come on now. There's nothing about her that I would consider to be obsessed. Again, as I stated time and time again, for those who don't know, she is pure entertainment. I could never take this woman seriously. Again, that's the reason why I actually look at some of her videos, not all, because again, she's constantly posting things, but a lot of the things that she posts is nothing but pure gossip, and actually wanting to add things to situations that's not there, all because she loves attention. Why? Because no one in her real life will give her the time of day. But again, aside from all of that, I posted on 2 of her videos. One was a video that she actually did where she was complaining about, the noise levels as far as, what's going on when people were, shooting fireworks and stuff like that. And I left a comment on there, and I'll probably post it somewhere on here where you can kind of see the comment that I left on there, and basically, I'm pretty sure, and again, my whole point for posting comments, again, I'm trying to see where your head is at. I'm trying to engage you because, again, you're claiming, again, that, YouTube is shortchanging you and all that type of stuff, and I'm gonna get to that in just a moment. But again, I'm trying to give you some, some service, I guess, because again, you claim that nobody wants to interact or talk to you. So I left a little comment up there to see, where your head is at, hoping that at some point you'll grow up and actually return my comment with an intelligent, thought-provoking sentence so we can actually engage in a very adult-like and have a meaningful conversation. Okay, so again, I left that. Nothing was said. She posts another video. And then in this video, and this is the one that really, I think, that got under her skin, it was a video about her noticing that YouTube was actually not playing ads on her videos. Now, I'm not a monetized channel, and again, I'm grateful for that because I do have a job that pays well, and again, I thank God for it, not to brag, and I also have other income coming in as well. Again, not bragging at all. That's the way that everything is set up right now. Again, I'm very grateful, and again, and it's nobody's business how I handle my funds. My thing is that, again, it allows me to do what I need to do to my house. It allows me to do whatever I want to do personally and professionally. So I'm grateful for that. But again, aside from that, she was claiming on her video that basically that she didn't understand why, YouTube was actually closing where she can't get any AdSense. And of course, for those of you who have a monetized channel who actually, make money off of YouTube, a lot of times there are many different ways you can get, money from YouTube. I'm not going to go through all of that, but basically from my understanding, views and actually having folks run advertisements on your channel, on your videos, is one way to do it. Somehow, some way, again, mostly all of her videos now, YouTube has taken it, and I don't know if someone reported her or whatever, I don't know, but somehow, some way, YouTube has pretty much taken off ads on almost every one of her videos, to the point where she is actually complaining once again in one of her latest videos. And I'll actually put a screenshot of that up here also to let you know what video I'm talking about. Now, in this video, of course, and I never thought that she would reach a new low, but again, we're talking about Karmika Boom. She is constantly grabbing at the bottom, scraping whatever she can, again, because she is a bottom of the barrel type of gal. She's in a, I guess, in the tub. You know, she says that she's actually taking a bath. Now, my thing is that, you know, we all have many different ways on how to be creative on YouTube, you know, to try to engage our audience and stuff like that. But I mean, for real, I mean, I guess when you're desperate and you're grabbing at straws, you'll kind of really run to do everything that you can, or think of everything that you can to get folks to become engaged in your, you know, in your material. But once she actually was, you know, talking in the video, and she actually identified what she was doing, she was sitting in a tub washing, because you can hear the sounds of water, whatever the case may be. I was like, okay, that sounds weird, but okay. But I said, you know what, you know, I understand she's weird in the head, but you know, we'll go ahead and move past that. So as she's talking, she's actually talking about, you know, that she's gonna, you know, she's tired of going through this with YouTube and everything like that. She's thinking about getting her own platform, and she's coming up with all of these different ideas and great things about what she wants to do, so she doesn't have to worry about the rules and everything that YouTube has put into place and everything like that. And you know, my thing is that, you know, she's been saying the same thing over for years and years and years. And again, you know, again, I've done videos on her, many videos, you know, about the concept of insanity, you know, doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result. She's a classic definition. But basically, she's saying that, you know, she got some things in the works or whatever the case, and see, and this is what was the kicker that got me, that she is going to need the help from her subscribers to get her there. Now, again, as you guys know, I've been saying this time and time and time and time again. This woman thinks that the folks, for the most part, a good piece of her subscribers actually likes her. Now, I don't know if this woman is deaf. We definitely know that she's dumb, because again, she can't really think, because again, your subscribers have shown her, or her subscribers have shown her, just how well they think about her. Every time she mentions donations, every time she mentions it's her birthday and all this other type of stuff, it's my birthday and all this other type of stuff, you know, and she's looking for money, of course, because again, all she knows how to do is beg. Why? Because she doesn't have much money. They show her every time how much they think of her. And see, one of the main things and one of the worst ways to live, and again, and I pray to God that I never have to actually live like this, is when you have to depend on the kindness of other people. Now, again, you got some people that have YouTube channels that are able to make this thing work for them, where they can actually make a decent living. They're able to fund a lifestyle. They're able to raise a family. They're able to buy houses and all this other type of stuff. These are things that Carmen wants, because she's mentioned that, you know, many times in previous videos in the past. She compared herself to Tommy Sotomayor, and a whole lot of other people who were very well known at the time, and she wondered why she couldn't get the same respect that these other people got. And the thing about it, I can say without, you know, with the complete straight face, that they have a talent to draw people in. She doesn't. The only thing that she has that really that I guess engages people in is her stupidity, her wackiness, the unbelievability that, you know, how could someone this loony be able to have a video camera in front of them to post a video? And again, that's the only reason why I stay engaged. And again, it's worth repeating, because again, people like to take narratives and run with it. The main reason why I watch her material, not all of it, because if I watch this woman's material, I will be up from day to night, because she is constantly posting videos, constantly trying to get the engagement, constantly trying to get views, which she says that she has no interest in, which that was a lie, because again, there was a comment, and again, I'll post it, where, you know, and I mentioned to her that, you know, she was talking about something that she was never about the views and the numbers. That's all that she talks about. And what upsets her is the fact that she is not getting the numbers and the views that she wants, because she feels she's an entitled woman. She feels and she deserves that, you know, that she should get certain things simply because, I guess, of how long she's been on YouTube. But again, I've been saying this for quite some time, that, you know, when you don't have any expectations, you will never be disappointed. That's a wise saying. But again, for someone who claims to be wise, which she is not, you know, what can you expect? The woman, again, she's living, she's trying to scrape to get by. And again, in this economy, we are all doing that. But the fact is you trying to put somebody else down and calling them all kind of names simply because they're trying to engage you to try to see where your head is at, hoping that you may have matured a little bit. That's why the way that I would say my relationship with her is that I will engage her for a season and then I will step back. I'll come back and engage her for a season to see if she's grown up or have gotten, like, I guess, some sort of mature brain, and I'll step back. And again, don't get that, you know, confused with being obsessed, because there's nothing that you could remotely have that I could ever want. Get that straight, and I want you to understand that and get that through that skull of yours. You know, the one, again, that is bald, that you're trying to cover up with that nappy lace front, that we can all see that you barely take care of. All right? Since you want to go there, we can go there. But again, in that video, I asked her and I told her, I said, well, you say one thing, that you're not about the numbers, but that's all you talk about. And I told her that she needs to tell the truth and shame the devil. And there was some other stuff that I mentioned in there, you know, about Bible scriptures and stuff like that. And basically, from that little paragraph that I wrote, that's why we have this right here, this whole thing right here now, where she's calling herself going off on me, saying some things or whatever the case may be. And like I say, once I begin to read this type of trash, I begin to laugh, because again, you're using words, but it doesn't fit the situation. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go by and dissect this thing point by point, so we can kind of get an understanding as to the reason why this woman hates my guts so much. I mean, she hates my guts with a passion. For that, I say stand in line. I got some other people right now that are angry with me. You want to know why? Because I refuse to bend over and kiss their behind. And you're the same way. I'm not going to bend over and kiss yours or anybody else's. Again, you may stump your feet and have your subscribers to bend to your every command, but you got the right one here. That's all that I can say. You got the right one here, and I have no problem going toe-to-toe with you, 10 toes down, to tell you that, look at here, stay in your place, young lady. Stay in your place, okay? Your place is over there. You don't want none of this that's over here. Stay in your lane. So what I want to do now in this section or portion of the video is that I want to actually sit and I want to go by and talk to you guys about this ridiculous post that she posted to her, I guess, her Facebook page. And, you know, and again, thank you for the viewer who actually sent this to me. Because again, you know, it lets me know that for the most part, this woman basically, the more she actually explains and goes on in this situation, the issue is that I'm able to actually reach her in certain areas that other people can't. And the beauty of this is that I do it in an intelligent way. I don't have to hit below the belt. What I do is I come at you and I get you to your core. And you know that I've gotten you to your core because, again, you can feel the intensity and the hatred that went behind the words that were typed in this post. So let's go ahead and address it one by one. It says here, this level of suspected insanity, instability, obsession, and years of stalking needs to be studied. This weird nigga has created the narrative that I'm the problem and it's so much wrong, and that there's so much wrong with me, but yet his punk behind has been still watching and listening to me years after making videos about me and pretending to oppose everything about me, and even subscribed again to my channel after I blocked his weird looking acting tail self. So basically, okay, again, the skillful use of words. Now, first of all, again, I went from a suspected homosexual to this weird looking nigga. Okay, so basically, let's stop right there. Okay, again, let's leave the homosexual part out, because again, that's a part that, again, I'm not offended by, because again, I've been called a lot worse by a whole lot better. That's point one. Again, I'm comfortable in my sexuality as a man. I'm comfortable in my ability to go and approach a woman and talk to them, and even actually, and I even have offers. But the thing about it, I don't want something that everybody else has had. That's just me. Call me old-fashioned. But again, I can be that. I can approach folks and be my natural self and attract people. You, on the other hand, when people get to know you, they really leave away hoping that they will never meet you ever again. And then again, you have those who are low vibrational like you, who are from the bottoms of Memphis, or I'm sorry, Oxford, Mississippi, that, you know, you two share the same personalities, meaning that you don't really aspire to do much out of life because you don't have any ambition, you know, that think the same as you do. So again, in cases like that, I guess you would make a good match. Of course, you know, with that unfortunate incident with the dude that you met at the, you know, the bus station, but we already know how that went. Again, you didn't study too deep, and you allowed folks to, you know, boom, bam, boom, and all this other type of stuff. So we already know, again, everybody has a past, but again, since you want to go and hit below the belt, we can do that. But I can be classy about mine. My words will actually fit the situation. Yours just figured it's like you're grabbing at whatever you feel that would, I guess, create a bigger insult. You have a lot to learn. You really have a lot to, you need to grow up. You're a 50, mid-50s, over-the-hill woman that still feels that she is relevant and that she still feels that somebody somewhere is still looking for you, trying to hunt you down to wife you up or whatever the case may be. I pray out of everything that you do in this life that you get a man. That's what I'm praying for on your behalf. Because when you get a man that will actually take the time to get to overlook your shortcomings, which we all do have, and actually begin to love you and really begin to treat you the way that you are so desperately looking to be treated, I guarantee you your whole attitude would change. Definitely your appearance would change. You wouldn't actually look like a crackhead. But again, we're going to keep it classy. All right? This part about, again, this weird nigga, I can't get over that because, again, you describe me as weird. I consider myself normal, and it really doesn't bother me because I don't dress to impress you or any other female. I dress to impress myself. I dress to impress for what the occasion is, and I get many compliments. Again, you can believe what you want. Again, just because you see me coming up in here whenever I dress or do a video with common things or with a t-shirt, I have a variety of clothing. I like t-shirts. I have a variety of white t-shirts. Again, when I want to sit and do a video, I want to be relaxed. So I dress in what relaxes me and what really fits the occasion. You see, I work out. Like I say, I don't got to prove nothing to you or anybody else up in here. The fact is that you deep down, you wish you could have someone that is of my caliber, that wants to chase you and actually be with you. That's what you want. But again, just like I told you in a lot of other videos, you will never get that. Why? Because you talk too much. And the thing about it, again, you talk about things that you don't know anything about. You run your mouth. That's the biggest turn off to a decent man. Let me tell you, since you do want a man, let me give you advice from a man. Again, here we go again. Learn to shut up with some things. Everybody doesn't need to know everything that you're thinking about. And half the stuff that you're talking about, again, it doesn't even profit anything. It doesn't bring any new wealth or any new intellect to help somebody along the way. All it does is it creates gossip. And that's pretty much what you are all about, gossip. Any man in any caliber would see you coming, they'll turn around and run the other way. Because again, you're not the type or quality type woman that a standard man would want. And anybody that would want you definitely has something, they're a bit cuckoo. Again, just my opinion. Basically, you claim that I am a whole nobody and loser, but yet he's obviously obsessed. Now, again, I never called you a nobody or a loser. Those are your words. Okay, so again, if that's what you want to say that I said, that you take that up and that's a narrative that you created. You come up here and you make your own self look bad, basically out of the things that you say and do on your videos. You come up here, you talk about things in intimate details and stuff that is very inappropriate. And again, you don't really have no no discretion with your mouth. You don't understand that children are watching your videos. You sit up here and actually make little sexual little innuendos and all this other type of stuff. I sat there and I've seen all of this type of stuff. You're the weirdo, because you still expect for people to respect you, but yet still you can't even respect yourself. So now make that make sense. You don't have no discretion about what comes out of your mouth, and you're definitely not wise, because again, if you did, you would ponder before you speak, and you will actually think about how that affects other people. But again, you run your mouth too much. You put your personal business out here, and then when folks bring it back to your face, you get all in your feelings, because again, you don't know how to react to it. I was even told in videos that you did a while back, when you was talking about, from the unfortunate passing of your cousin, I think it was in Arizona, whoever it was. And I did a video about you, about how much you put your personal business out there. And I mean, the conversations got too deep. There was somebody that sent something to me and told me that you actually was committed into a mental institution. Somebody that was close to you, Carmen, actually said that, you know what, that they wanted to let me know that she was actually institutionalized because of mental disorders. So I was like, wow. So what I've been actually thinking this whole time really does make sense. But again, that was something, again, that somebody came and told me. But since you want to actually come with the gloves off, we can do that. All right? See, it wasn't my intention to go this route. All I wanted to do is to see where your head was at, if you improved or if you grew up any. But since you want to go like this and come at me unprovoked like this, and again, when I speak and leave messages, whatever, it's not to provoke you or whatever. It's how you actually perceive information. But the fact is that, again, you dislike me so much that it doesn't matter what I say. I can tell you that you're a decent looking woman, but you're going to, well, I don't think that'll ever happen in this lifetime, because again, you have to really whatever. But just for the sake of the video, I can actually say that this woman looks halfway decent. She will still come back and look for a reason to insult me. Why? Because she's already purposed in her heart that, again, that she doesn't like me. And that's fine. I have a whole lot of people that don't like me. As I said before earlier in the video, pull up a chair. I got a lot of haters back there. But guess what? The more they hate, somehow God seems to still move me up to that next level. That's what I don't understand. The more that you hate and the more that you actually show people your ass, because that's what you do, because you don't know how to act like a decent human being. I guess your mammy didn't teach you well. I don't know. But again, that's what happens, because that's all that you know. You are used to being treated like yesterday's garbage. Because why? That's how you know. That's all that you know. So I've actually sat up there and in my years of knowing you, I would wrestle back and forth wondering, why does this woman act so crazy? Why is she so wacky? And then when I began to, get bits and pieces and clues and stuff based on the observations and what other people have told me, I said, you know what? It's starting to make sense now. So all of my observations from previous all the way up to now are valid. There's a second part of this here that she actually mentioned on here about, she's saying about a loser, but yet he's obviously obsessed with this nobody and a loser, where there's clearly millions of better options and alternatives on the board. Make it make sense. Why resubscribe to a subscription that you've been blocked from and you claim to not like? Well, the issue is, I already told you the reason why. You are a funny woman. I will give it to you. There are times when you say things that is just, your second career should be stand-up, because you're definitely not making it here on YouTube. But your second career should be a stand-up, because again, you say some of the most wacky things out of your mind. And the thing about it again is that you don't really think about it. You just say what comes to your mind. Sometimes it's good, and it's good, and I guess in a jovial manner, and it actually sometimes can be for a laughable moment. But a lot of times it's very sad. And that's my whole point. That is my whole summary of you. You are a sad woman. You are a sad woman drifting through life, hoping that, you will get your big break somehow. That's pretty much what you do. You're hoping that somebody somewhere will find you and actually take the time to get to know you and offer you something big. Again, I'm not talking about what's in the pants, because again, that's pretty much where your mind is anyway. Get it out of the gutter. But that's what you're hoping for. And you know what? I pray that you get what you're looking for. See, this is the thing. I am not your enemy. You want to paint the narrative that I am, but I am not your enemy. I never was. The only thing I was to you is, again, somebody who came to you on your platform and exposed you. That's pretty much what I did. I did my job, and basically, and that was years ago. But apparently, you couldn't get over that. You know that video where I said that you were a classic case of, dysfunction, and it still proves to be right to this day? I told you. I called it just like I saw it. I wasn't trying to be insulting. You took it that way, so guess what? You went this way with it, and so now all I did was just follow you to try to see where you're going, to try to make some sense out of it. So if there's anyone or any type of issue where there's animosity or any dislike, it's definitely not on my side. Because again, whenever you want to be friends, if that would ever be possible, then hey, I'm here for you. But again, since you are so comfortable with disliking and hating, hey, whatever you want. All I'm doing is just, again, doing my job and exposing the phony person that you are. That's all I am. And hoping that other people will see the exact same thing that I see. The only reason why you have a problem with me is, again, because I will not kiss your behind. Now, you got some other subscribers who are dumb, who will sit up there and give you donations because you are constantly begging still. That means that you haven't grown any. And basically with those are the ones who you rely on to give you things, I guess, to help you with whatever it is that you spend your money on, whether it be being scammed out of something, buying a bad wig, actually going and actually trolling the streets of Memphis in the midnight hours, trying to look for something to eat, all of these other type of things. Again, you rely on those type of people, and they're dumb enough to give you those funds so you can keep doing that. In other words, they are, they are enabling you to keep up that bad behavior. I'm just here to tell you again that what they're doing, they're not helping you. All they're doing is that they are on here for the same reason that I am, and you are pure entertainment to them, just as you are to me. It doesn't get no more real than that. That's all that you are. You will always be pure entertainment. You want folks to take you seriously. But again, based on the fact is that, how can I? How can anyone? But again, I hope and pray that you do get your big break whenever that comes, if it ever comes. But hopefully, and I pray that you change your ways, because basically you are a woman that is full of hate. You are full of anger. And I pray that you find the proper outlet to release that anger. Because again, all that hot air you blowing this way, all I can do is just open the door and let it blow out that way or somewhere. Because again, you are redirecting your anger to the wrong person. You're mad because, again, I was the first person to ever get you in an area where you weren't used to getting got. And you couldn't handle it then, and you definitely couldn't handle it now. Because you used to try to go and try to get my videos removed and all that type of stuff. But again, since YouTube couldn't find no fault in my videos, they still stand. And guess what? They're going to continue to stand, even despite what you think. Oh, yeah. So why resubscribe to a subscription that you've been blocked from and you claim to not like? It's giving cyber stalking vibes. So here we go again, trying to establish a narrative that is nowhere clear to what you're talking about. Cyber stalking, Miss Carmen Kaboom, since you, I guess, are so educated, I guess, since the rest of us are dumb, is when you actually hide under a cloak of anonymity, where you're sending things, threatening things. You are actually, I guess, threatening the life or threatening something personal, something where you want to create an environment of fear. Do I look like a scary person to you? You know who I am. You know my face. So there's no cyber stalking here. I want you to see everything. All natural here, baby. All natural. I want you to see it all. Why don't you lift that stuff up, what you call a wig, and let's see what you're working with. I want all of you. Okay, that's what I want. There's nothing to cyber stalk. There's nothing here because, again, cyber stalking is for those who are weak, that want to keep you in a constant, how can I put it, in a constant state of fear, not knowing what will happen from here to there. Every time I come with a purpose. And again, you know that I come with a purpose. And you know, when I state my purpose, it makes sense. That's why you get angry and start grabbing at words that don't make any sense, trying to hit below the belt, hoping that something will stick. But unfortunately, you come up short every time. You face so many disappointments in your life, Carmen. And again, I apologize. I can, only from the little time that I've known you, all I can do is say, you know what, I am so sorry that you faced those disappointments. A lot of them, from what I've gathered, is based on your personality. They were warranted. And again, it's because of the fact of how you treat people, how you talk to people. There are a lot of people and places and things that you want to get next to, but again, you say something that is stupid and it runs things and people away. You lust after things that you will never have. And the thing about it again is you get mad with the whole world just because, again, what you wanted ran from you, and for good reason. And you want to blame everybody else and get all pissy and all this other type of stuff. Again, you want to blame folks. Don't never want to take any accountability. It's always somebody else's fault. When are you going to grow up, Carmen? You're over a century years old. Or half a century, I should say. When are you going to grow up? I'm still waiting. It says here, it be the biggest ops. And again, I'm not your ops. You want me to be. That's what you want. But I've never been your ops. All I do is I come to expose you. And I think I did a good job of that. It be the biggest ops, main haters, who be the #1 fans sitting on the pissy lounge chairs and lying on pissy air mattresses on the front row watching and listening to everything I say and do while pretending that they don't like me. Well, one thing about it, again, words. Words. Let's actually define the word hater, because she likes to bring that up. That's a common theme with Carmen Kaboom. So let's talk about that word hater for just a moment. In order for me to actually hate you, in other words, hate is nothing more than admiration in reverse. There is nothing about you that I could ever admire, because #1, we know all about you. The entire internet knows your entire life. There is nothing, for the most part, that we don't know about you, because you're too dumb to keep, you say everything just for the sake of attention. You want attention. You live for attention. And basically, again, you don't know how to keep your mouth shut. You talk about haters. Haters is nothing more than, again, secret admirers. And they just don't want to come to terms or admit openly that there is a quality about you that they would like to emulate. I don't know how many times I can say this or how clear I would have to make it. There is nothing about you that I could ever want or would like to emulate. Again, even if I had a dog, I would definitely teach them not to be like you. That's why I look at you and I pray that the mothers who are raising daughters actually raise them the right way, so they won't turn out to be women who actually think and live in a delusional land like you, where they actually know their place and know their role and carry themselves with respect, and know that, again, that it doesn't matter if I don't ever get a man, I'm going to still stand and be the woman of God that God called them to be. See, I don't know much about your upbringing, but I do know a little bit, because, again, you open your mouth and you explain your childhood and everything about how your sister, how you had an alt against your sister, how your sister's boyfriend actually, I guess, had some sort of crush on you, and then it created a big issue between you and your sister, how you never had a great family dynamic, how you all sat in the same house and wouldn't speak to each other for years, which I probably more than likely is a lie. But anyway, knowing you like to kind of, exaggerate things, because, again, that's how your mind is. It's very animated. It likes to make things bigger than what it actually is. I can see through all the smoke screen. I really can. And the thing about it is that I sit and listen, because, again, I just want to see just how far you're going to take this thing. You're a very animated woman. You belong in a world that is delusional. You don't belong in the real world that the rest of us have to live in and survive in. That's where you belong. You belong in a world where basically where you set your own rules and there's nobody in that world but you. Because apparently you don't have the same blood and the same DNA and the chromosomes that the rest of us regular human beings have. You sit up there and say the most heinous things out of your mouth, and then in the same breath you want to quote scriptures. You a woman of God, this, that, and the other. No, you are a Jezebel is what you are. I'm just here to give you it straight and to the point. I am not playing any games. And I thought I made that perfectly clear in videos in the past. But again, since you want to constantly say these mean things that, again, that I'm still trying to figure out where it fits, I figure, okay, you know what? I'm seeing where you're trying to go. Okay, so since you want to try to go there, I'm going to pull you in so I can give you all of me. And as far as you talking about my mattress, that what I have like a air mattress, this is not air, baby. I have a love seat over there. That's not air, baby. I have a reclining thing that reclines back, electronic. Again, there's nothing here that's cheap. I worked hard for everything that I have, and I make no apologies for it. But again, you and your imaginary mind, trying to, conjure up things that is not there. That's just the way that you are. You are a very childlike mind. And I guess, sometimes you have to come where you have to get a verbal spanking. Don't try me like that. So basically, again, you end this with, you say basically, the pissy lounge chairs, rose watching and listening to everything I say and do while pretending that they don't like me. Nah, they don't like me. The MFs love me. Haha, in your dreams. The only thing that I could ever love about you is the fact that, I love to see you reach new lows, because it's going to teach the rest of us on how not to be. You're a desperate woman. You're desperate. Everything that you say and do, and every video that you say and do, is because, again, you are desperate, and basically you're losing ground here on YouTube. As I mentioned before, YouTube is handling business. They are starting to handle business it's about time that they do what they need to do. And the fact is that you're angry because, again, you can't get the money that you thought that you deserve. So right now, again, you go, running to your subscribers, begging, because it is what it is. I don't care what you call it, e-begging, that they donate to you. Well, if they're fools, they can go ahead and do that. We're all struggling in this economy. And I will be damned if I take any hard penny that I've earned and sweat and throw it to swines. Wasteful person. All you do is waste things. You take things that people work hard for, and you don't even know how to ration it out where it can actually last you, or where you can get some benefit, repeated use. All you do is squander all of your things right there. You're not a wise woman at all. That's why you don't never have anything. That's why the money that you get is like holes in your pocket. Like I said, it's going to take a very special man to even think about claiming you. But again, we're going to keep hope alive. We're going to keep hope alive that you find somebody. Because one of these days, if it's not soon, I don't know, we may see you do something else that is even more despicable. Up there in the tub of all places, talking about some of you itching. Probably you itching because you probably didn't bathe or whatever. But anyway, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there because that's the subject of a whole nother video. That's all that I want to talk about in this video, guys. Peace, love. And actually, I want to include a clip on here of me actually making my snow crab. So y'all stay tuned for that, and we'll get to that right now. Hello guys, once again, welcome to my kitchen. I think actually I wanted to do I guess just like a small crab boil for myself, basically. Nothing too big or out of the ordinary, but just something that's just big enough for me. What you see what I have here is a snow crab legs. Basically, I got these snow crabs, these clusters, about a couple of weeks ago. And basically, excuse me, what I did is anytime I actually go to, I like to catch them on sale at my local grocery store. And what I would like to do here, and maybe this is a little hack, I guess, to save you all money, but again, it's something that I've discovered that's new to me, but it might not be so much new to you. But what I would do is that when I would actually go to the grocery store, I would actually, ask for them to give me, let's say 2 pounds of snow crab legs. I will always ask them, hey, I don't want the ones that are already thawed out. I want the ones that are frozen. The reason for that is because I used to actually get these snow crabs that were actually thawed out, and I would refreeze them. Because again, I wasn't going to eat them that day or whatever, or anytime soon, so I would refreeze them. And then I would take them out, let's say 2 weeks later, and I would go to prepare them. Basically, it would have like that ammonia smell. So, I was like, I can't, that wasn't very good. And of course, I was mad because I did spend, a pretty considerable amount of money on those snow crab legs, basically, but I had to throw them out because they didn't smell too good. So what I do now is when I go there and catch them on sale, I'll ask them to give me some, but I'll ask them to give me some out of the frozen section, the ones that are already frozen. So when I get home, I'll take it out of the original package that they give me, and I'll actually put them in my food saver wrap, as you see right here. I have my home food saver wrap. I'll actually put them in there, and remove all of the air. I have a machine that does that, and then I'll go ahead and store them in the freezer. And basically, whenever I get ready for them, I'll take them out. And when I smelled these were actually still good, still fresh, no fishy smell, none of that type of stuff. So we're good to go. So basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take these out. I have my shrimp here as well that I'm going to actually be including in my little my little seafood boil. I already had prepared some eggs already off-site here before I actually did this video. So I have those already there prepared, and I may actually do some corn as well. So, and I'm going to go ahead and actually start, getting everything prepared here, because I'm going to be actually putting these in my pressure cooker, and I'm going to pressure cook these. So again, I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these cut out of the plastic here, so I can go ahead and actually get to start into seasoning them, and of course adding my shrimp and my corn. So I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see I actually went and actually got me a few ears of corn. I got these shrimps here, and of course I got the corn, the shrimps, and the snow crab legs. I basically went ahead and actually rinsed them off, basically, so I can go ahead and kind of, de-ice them just a little bit, so I can actually get these prepared for my seasoning that I want to put on them. But before I do anything else, basically what I like to do is I like garlic. So what I did is I'm going to try to see if I can maybe squeeze a little bit of garlic, what's left out of that from this here. See if I can put that in view. Okay, I'm going to use some of that. And I also got some more, a fresh thing worth, I guess, a jar full of this minced garlic too. I always like to put this on here first before I even actually do the seasoning, because I want the garlic flavor, the garlic, the garlicky stuff. So I went ahead and got some of this. So I'm going to go ahead and actually go ahead and actually start putting some of that on here first before anything else. So what I'm going to do here, let me see here. What I like to do is I like to actually take them and actually do them by cluster. So I'll pick up one cluster, I'll put the garlic and stuff over it, and so forth, and I'll do the other cluster. I got 3 clusters here. I didn't realize I had 3, but anyway, I'll do one at a time, each cluster at a time, and then I'll turn around and do the shrimp and then the corn. So when we come back, I'll have all of this done, and then I'll go ahead and start with my rub that I have here. So just kind of give me a minute. Let me go ahead and put the garlic on it. Okay, so I know you can barely see it here, but I know you can probably see some white, some little specks and stuff like that. So I've already went ahead and actually put the garlic in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and actually add my own dry rub that I actually made for this crab boil here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually sprinkle this over the crab, everything up in here, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now you see here that I've actually went ahead and actually added all of the seasonings and everything, as you can see here, to my crab clusters here, well seasoned. And I went ahead and actually seasoned, of course, my shrimp and, my corn as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and actually kind of clean up around the kitchen here just a bit, so I can actually get these crabs prepared for my next step. I'm going to go ahead and get my pressure cooker out. And then I'm going to go ahead and get everything prepared for that, okay? So just kind of hang on. Okay, so if you can see here, basically I actually went and got one of those little serving dishes things. It's like I guess one of those things that you use, I guess, like when you go into like a grocery store or one of those restaurant things where, you know, you can have put them in one of these dishes that's like like, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. One of these here that you can actually use is like good enough, a bucket of seafood like you get at the restaurant. They'll come and serve it to you and give you a little bucket to put it in. I actually had one of those actually lying around actually in my cabinet, so I figured I would use one of those to put into my pressure cooker. So let me go ahead and actually get this situated in my pressure cooker. I also went ahead and actually put the water and everything, the broth in here. Basically what I use is I use bouillon, the one that has the tomato stuff mixed in with it. So I just kind of added some water to it and mixed that together. So that's what's going to serve as my base here. So I'm going to use this basically to steam my snow crabs and everything here. So that's how I actually like to do it. Whenever I do it, you know, I use that to actually, I wouldn't say steam, but to pressure cook, you know, because you have to have enough liquid down at the bottom to create pressure. And basically that's what I want to do, is I want to actually pressure cook my snow crab. So basically let me go ahead and get this pressure cooker and everything set up, and I will be right back. I just want to let you see the picture first. I have it sitting in my pressure cooker. See how nice it sits in there, just quite nice. You know, I like how I do this, but basically that's a quick view of it before I actually put the lid on to start the pressure cooking process. Okay, so it looks like here everything is done. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and actually remove the lid. Be careful with that. I always like to remove it away from me so the fumes can go that way. Alrighty, let me take this off. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys what we have, what we're working with. So if you can sit here and see, that's pretty much what we have. Looks all good and everything too. Oh, that looks good. All right, so this is gonna pretty much be, you know, my little seafood night or whatever that you want to call it here. I'll sit down and pop in a movie and just kind of sit here and enjoy my crab legs. I love the way that, you know, the way that these turned out. I always like to, of course, oh, that's hot. Yeah. Have my little serving dish here so I can just kind of pick them up like this and take them out like that and put them on a little table there and eat out of the bucket here. So that's basically all that I actually have for now, guys. So I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, to give you another brief look at it real quick, this is what it's looking like right now. So what I'm getting ready to do now is I'm going to go ahead and actually put the lid on it here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that on here like so. Okay, we'll go ahead and shut it down like that. So that means that it is locked. I'm going to go ahead, it's already set for pressure, manual pressure. I'm going to hit the OK button. Anytime I'm doing pressure cooking, I like to go ahead and set my pressure cook time to 5 minutes. So I'm going to click it back a little bit. Let me do that. 5, perfect. Push that down, go all the way down, the pressure level high, yada, yada, yada. Natural release. Now I'm going to hit continue, but before I hit continue, I want to make sure that this is set to, you know, to close the vent. So I want to make sure that it is closed and that it is, yes, that is sealed. All right, so it is sealed, and I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. It's going to give me a reminder asking me to make sure that the gasket or the little pressure cooking rubber gasket is in place, which it is, and then I'll just go ahead and hit the start. So now all I have to do now is just sit back 5 minutes and wait for my seafood crab boil to be done.